Pahala ngayon sa Amerika ang tumataas sa bilang ng violence against Asian American dulot ng diskriminasyon sa COVID-19. Ano po kaya ang tugon dito? Nakauupo pa lamang na administrasyon ni United States President Joe Biden. Makikibalita po tayo kay Philippine Ambassador to the US, Jose Manuel Romualdez. Magandang araw po, Ambassador.
Hi, good morning.
Opo, Ambassador.
Morning to you.
Opo, Ambassador, basahin ko muna po yung tanong na ating kasama sa media. Ano po, sa Filipino Mirror, tanong po ni Evelyn Quiroz, Ambassador, nagpadala nga po daw kayo ng note verbal sa pamahalaan ng Estados Unidos sa nangyayaring pag-atake sa mga Asian Americans na dala ng diskriminasyon sa COVID-19. May sagot na po ba ang White House at ilang senador na po yung sa inyong pagkabahala?
Well, pinadala namin yung note verbal sa State Department, which is the place where we interact with you dito sa Amerika. At immediately naman, sila ay nag-react at nagpadala rin kami ng sulat sa mga senators dito, yung mga US Senator, lalo na yung chairman ng Justice Committee ng US Senate, si Senator Dick Durbin. Tumawag siya ng hearing yung isang araw at tinawag nila yung FBI Director. At tinanong nila tungkol dito sa mga hate crimes. At maganda naman ang mga sagot ng FBI dahil sila ay gumagawa ng lahat ng pwede nilang gawin na itigil itong hate crime. So marami silang mga agents na nag-spread out all over the US, lalo na sa California na marami tayong mga Filipinos. No? Doon marami rin mga Asian Americans. So mukhang things are moving in the right direction in the sense that they are well aware of these hate crimes that is now happening dahil dito sa COVID.
Opo, Ambassador, kahit po bang Biden administration na po yung nakaupo, ay sa tingin niyo po ay hindi pa rin po ba tumitigil yung banta sa kapwa Pinoy natin nakatira sa Amerika? Well,
alam mo, itong hate crime, lalo na sa Asian American, nag-umpisa yan last September pa. Dahil dito nga sa COVID, tinawag nga na Chinese virus dito sa Amerika. So medyo maraming nawalan ng trabaho, maraming siyempre nagkasakit at maraming namatayan ng mga pamilya nila. So siyempre galit na galit sila at so sila binubuhos nila yung galit nila sa mga Asian Americans. Unfortunately, marami tayong mga Pilipino that have Chinese descent. So lalo na yung nangyari doon sa New York medyo na-alarm kami doon. Yung isang Filipino na sinislash nila from ear to ear sa subway. Doon medyo kami dito sa embassy at immediately we called our consulate in New York at tinawag namin ang pansin ng State Department na we're very concerned about the safety of many of our Filipino Americans and Filipinos living in New York.
Ambassador, nagkaroon na po ba kayong makilala ng personal ngayon si US President Biden? May mga in case po may mga napag-usapan na po ba kayo tungkol sa relasyon ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos?
Hindi, ang kausap namin sa White House, yung National Security Advisor si Jake Sullivan at yung in charge ng Asian area si Ed Kagan. Siya ay nakausap ko yung isang araw. About a week ago at marami kami pinag-usapan lalo na yung mga security issues at iba pang mga issues that will be of mutual interest for both our countries.
Opo, pero naganap na po ba yung tinatawag nating annual bilateral strategic dialogue between Manila and Washington kung saan daw po inaasahan pag-uusapan yung naging pahayag ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte tungkol sa pagbabayad ng Amerika sa Pilipinas kung hindi po ay ite-terminate na lamang niya yung Visiting Forces Agreement?
Well, yung sa bilateral strategic dialogue, yan ay every year yan nagmi-meeting tayo. Of course, this year it was a virtual meeting. Pinag-usapan natin yung VFA at yung Mutual Defense Treaty. Yung sinabi ni President Duterte tungkol din sa pagbayad, ang interpretation namin ay dahil kailangan ng mga i-modernize nga yung ating armed forces. So meron kami nakuhang lista na binigay sa amin ng Pentagon, kinumpare namin doon sa lista na pinadala nila kay Secretary Lorenzana. At mukhang sapat naman sa lahat ng mga hinihingi natin mukhang kompleto naman at marami pang dadating ng mga kailangan natin ng mga armas o whatever hardware that we need from the United States. No? So hopefully, nakita na ng Presidente yun dahil nandiyan na kay Secretary Lorenzana at yun, that would probably satisfy the President's concern regarding itong pag-modernize ng ating armed forces.
Opo.
At marami pang dating na lalo na yung mga helicopter, meron pa tayong something like 10 more Black Hawk helicopters na parating dyan sa Pilipinas within this year.
Opo. So sa tingin ninyo, Ambassador, hindi naman po ito makaka-apekto yung pagtulong ng Amerika sa atin para po palakasin ang kakayahan pa ng ating AFP sa pamagitan nga po ng equipment at mga sasakyan pandigma, Ambassador?
Well, I don't think it will have any effect. Alam mo, matagal na itong relasyon natin sa Amerika. As a matter of fact, this year, we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of our diplomatic relations and 70 years of the Mutual Defense Treaty. No? Siyempre, meron tayong mga konting mga problema in the past, lalo na yung na-terminate yung mga US bases. Pero, bagat pa man, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang ating relasyon dito. Ako, I'm confident na maski ano mangyari, importante itong relasyon natin sa Amerika at I think we will continue to have good relations with this country and solve all of these problems in a way that is mutually beneficial to all of us. Recently, merong sinabi si President Biden na gusto niya i-strengthen yung kanilang mga alliances all over the world, lalo na sa Asia. At handa silang tumulong at gusto nga nila, tama rin yung gusto natin, gusto ni Presidente na tayo dapat ay medyo, huwag tayo masyadong dependent sa Amerika. Gusto natin yung ating armed forces ay mahanda na maging talagang mutual defense ang kanilang. Mutual defense meaning to say, pwede tayong sabay pag meron man problema na meron tayong kalaban na pwede tayong sumabay sa Amerika. So, yan gusto rin ni President Biden na a policy that he would like to implement here. So, again, I guess that jives with what President Duterte would like also to happen.
Opo, meron lang pong follow-up question na ating kasama, si Laila Salaveria po ng Daily Inquirer. Paki-clarify lang daw po, does he mean, you mean providing enough military equipment to the AFP will convince the President to keep the VFA?
Well, at the end of the day, the President has the sole prerogative to either to renew or extend the visiting forces of agreement. Ang trabaho natin dito sa Amerika ay to make sure that all of this is communicated properly to the right channels. At kung ano man sabihin ng Presidente, yun ang aming susundin. No? Pero like I said, itong visiting forces agreement at saka itong bilateral strategic dialogue, every year nag-uusap tayo. That's a yearly event. And that is where we bring out all of these things. And I think that whatever issues na ilabas man natin, the United States is prepared to see what they can do. And like I said, ito nga mga armas or whatever it is that mahaba yung listang binigay kay Secretary Lorenzana, which is technically what we've been what we programmed for the past 5 years, no? Since 2016 actually. Lahat ng mga gusto natin at kailangan natin medyo natupad na. At marami pang dadating.
Opo, Secretary, may tanong naman po yung kasamaan din natin sa media, si Pia Ranyada po ng Rappler. Can we expect the 117,000 Pfizer doses from COVAX? And how about the Pfizer doses obtained through bilateral negotiations? When can we expect the signing daw po of a supply agreement with Pfizer?
Well, as far as Pfizer is concerned, ang ating ang supply ay galing sa COVAX, kagaya ng AstraZeneca. No? Yung 117,000 that was actually promised by COVAX, I understand from Secretary Galvez, medyo nagkaroon lang ng konting delay, pero dadating rin daw. It's supposed to be coming to the Philippines within the next couple of weeks. No? Ngayon, ang aming tinatrabaho dito, yung Moderna, which is with the private sector dyan sa atin, we've already concluded the agreement. Yung supply na lang, no? We're trashing out the supply. kung kailan nila pwede i-deliver itong Moderna. Ito yung medyo katumbas na Pfizer. And we're hoping that we will have the first deliveries by either end of May or early part of June. Yan ang tinatarget natin. And then of course, hindi naman sabay-sabay lahat yung 20 million na binibili natin sa Moderna. Half of that will, or almost half of that will go to the private sector and their employees. Malaking force yan. And then the other half will go to the other, to our health workers, to all the rest of the Filipinos that will be receiving the Moderna through the LGUs and other entities there in the Philippines. So we're confident that all of these things will be coming, this definitely within the next second half of this year. We will be expecting this vaccines coming from the United States arriving. And also, I'd like to, gusto ko lang sabihin sa ating mga mamamayan na alam mo, ang Amerika nagdo-double up yung kanilang production ng mga vaccines. No? Sinabi ni President Biden na by end of May, lahat ng mga Amerikano pwede silang ma-vaccinate kung gusto nila. There will be enough for the United States. So in other words, yung demand nila, the supply that they need will be completed by the end of May. But the production will continue for lalo na itong pinakabagong lumalabas na yung Johnson & Johnson na one shot. No? Lahat yan will be made available to the world, which everybody agrees. Hindi naman pwede yung isang bayan lang COVID-free na. Kailangan lahat, the whole world. So they're aware of that, and that the fact that they're back into the WHO and they are also contributing to the COVAX facility will give access to most countries, especially the Philippines.
Opo. Ambassador, may follow-up question lang po si Joseph Morong ng GMA News about Pfizer. Are we, what accounts daw po for the delay, and are we scheduled to receive other vaccines from other American manufacturers? If yes, how many and when daw po?
Okay, well, like I said, yung Pfizer, right now, we have negotiated it through the COVAX facilities. The reason for that is because dahil it's definitely more affordable, no, kung bibili natin diretso. Kaya yung sa Moderna, iba yun, no? Kaya natin inimbita yung private sector na sumama sa gobyerno para at least we can be able to spread it out at saka yung cost. No? At saka ito, this is also being financed by the World Bank, which we were able to work with also for this purchase of Moderna. Lahat yan dadating no later than at least the first batches will start arriving no later than June of this year, all the way down to the third and fourth quarter of this year. So that's Moderna. Ngayon yung Pfizer, yung Novavax na si Secretary Galvez is also working on. I think we've already concluded that one, and that's why he's going to India to talk to Novavax. That is an American pharmaceutical company, but it is being produced in India.
Opo.
Ngayon yung Johnson, meron tayong naka-ready na 4 million. In other words, they have committed already for us, 6 million doses of the Johnson, pero hindi sila makakommit pa kung kailan nila madi-deliver dahil yun nga, ang priority ay yung demand muna dito sa Amerika.
Opo.
Which is really, I suppose it's understandable dahil gawa dito at they need to vaccinate at least 70% of Americans here in the United States.
Opo, yun nga po. Ambassador, kumusta naman po yung kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan dyan? Marami na po ba yung mga nagpabakuna? Or may agam-agam din po ba sila? Or yung hesitation na kumuha ng bakunang ituturok sa kanila? At paano nyo po sila ini-encourage na talagang sumailalim din sa vaccination program ng Amerika?
Well, yung ating mga health workers, which is they're hard-working Filipino nurses and doctors here, sila nauna na inoculated na or vaccinated na, no? And they're encouraging all Filipino Americans and Filipinos alike to go ahead and get the vaccine. There is no question that the only way that we can manage and control the pandemic is through the vaccine. Wala na tayong ibang choice. So in fact, I'm also encouraging all our kababayan sa Pilipinas na go ahead and take the vaccine. At saka tama rin whatever is available, kunin na ninyo yan, whatever it is that's being offered right now. Dahil hindi naman nilalabas yan ng WHO or even yung Sinovac. That will not be delivered to us if it's something that doesn't work. No? We just have to face the fact that the sooner we get vaccinated, the better for everyone, especially there in the Philippines. And then rest assured, at least from my conversations with Secretary Galvez, we will have enough vaccines to really be able to have that herd immunity that we're looking at.
Opo. Ambassador, may follow-up question lang po si Joseph Morong ng GMA News. Ilan daw po ang Novavax?
Ang Novavax, ang pagkaalap ko sabi sa akin ni Secretary Galvez is something like 30 million doses. No? So that will be for at least 15 million people. Dalawa rin yung kailangan ng jobs yan. Ang mag-inoculate ng Novavax yung United Lab. Alam mo, ang ginawa natin as early as middle of last year, upon the instructions of the President, we have been talking to the pharmaceutical companies here. Yun lang, of course, as I said, the delays are caused by several factors. I don't want to really have to go through any of the details, but mainly, many of them is because of our procurement laws. No? So all that has been changed, and because it's an emergency, and we've been able to work faster, especially those private pharmaceutical companies that obviously cannot go through a facility like COVAX. No? So it takes time, but we're not far behind, as people think, that we're not far behind from many countries. Sa totoo lang, we're actually better off than many countries because technically we're only the first week of March when we already started our vaccination program. We're very confident that we would be able to get the vaccines that we need before the end of this year and on to early next year.
Opo. Ambassador, may follow-up lang din po si Pia Gutierrez ng ABS-CBN kung update lang daw po sa request ng Pilipinas for additional Pfizer vaccines under COVAX facility. Yes,
like I said, yung supply dito sa Amerika, siyempre yun una, no? Kasi when President Biden took office, his instructions were to supply or to be able to give Americans the vaccines at the quickest possible time. So in the beginning, medyo slow yung kanilang production, pero nag-double up na nga, and Pfizer has already sort of like is now working with the competitor, yung Merck, which is another pharmaceutical company. So they're doubling up their production of the vaccines. And as I said, kung ma-supply na yung demand dito sa Amerika, there'll be enough that they'll be able to now start selling this or perhaps exporting it or going through the COVAX facility, which is really the best way because yung COVAX is a pool of many vaccines that the WHO put together so that it will be able to supply the rest of the world, especially countries like the Philippines, where our resources are of course limited. No, it's not a limitless type of thing. Kaya nga itong Moderna, lumapit tayo sa World Bank to give us the financing that dahil medyo mahal nga itong Moderna because of the fact that it's a new company. Well, it's a smaller pharmaceutical company that we needed to get this particular kind of vaccine, which is the special one, the RNA development.
Opo. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panahon, Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez.
Maraming salamat rin. Thank you very much.